Hey everybody, welcome to Indisputable. I'm Yasmin Aliya Khan. Dr. Richie is actually here today, but we're having some audio issues. So once we get those resolved, we will get him on the show. In the meantime, I'm going to start the show off. We have our first story. It's actually a little bit of some Hollywood stuff, this time involving the popular reality show Love is Blind. Take a look.
I'm the girl who posted on my story about how Steven from Love is Blind season 10 sexually assaulted me, and I commented on their post asking to talk to someone. I also want to say that I'm not faulting the producers for having him on their show. It happened in May of 2025. After filming, there's no way they would have even known. So first, this is just proof that we are in contact and he's not just some random guy that I saw on TV to accuse of sexual assault so that I would get attention or whatever some people think. This is me texting my therapist to ask for an emergency appointment because I was sexually assaulted. You can see it's dated Friday, May 16th. Steven and I matched on Bumble, and he gave me his Instagram, and we followed each other on Instagram for a while. Messaged very sparingly. When he came over and things started to get intimate, he asked me if I wanted to give him head, and I told him no. Every single time that I would stop and tell him I didn't want to do it anymore, he would pretty much beg me. I would keep trying to pull away, and I would keep trying to stop. I was physically resisting. He would keep pushing my head down. He eventually pulled out his camera to start recording me, even after I had told him that I didn't want to and that I wouldn't even consider it with someone that I didn't know. It was terrifying, honestly. And when I finally got the courage to pull away and tell him, I'm done, stop this, I don't want to do this anymore, I told him to delete the video, and he asked me if I wanted to see it first, which was insane. After he left, I was just kind of feeling gross and degraded.
3 women have now come forward and publicly spoken out about their experience with Love is Blind season 10 cast member Steven. More creators have been talking about it, and the story has been gaining traction. And in a comment section, another woman came forward. Now, I have blocked out her information because I have been in contact with her, and from my understanding, she is going to come forward and publicly tell her story as well. And I want her to tell it in her own words. This is woman 2. Alicia has been very vocal on social media about warning women about her experience with Steven. She took to the private Facebook groups, and another woman came forward saying that she had a similar experience with Steven. So here is Alicia's message, and she said she keeps posting about it and it keeps getting deleted in the group. And another woman whose name I also blocked out says he also did to me too, and it also got deleted a couple years ago. Fortunately, the season has already been filmed, and spoiler alert, if you do not want to know anything, the Reality Receipts podcast and Ashley and I are told that Steven is going to get some airtime. He is not going to be engaged. He is not going to be married, but he is going to get some airtime in the pods. He is going to be featured in some of those earlier episodes. I do think it's too late for production to cut those scenes, so unfortunately, he will be shown.
Well, before season 10 of Netflix's Love is Blind even aired, one cast member was already at the center of the online controversy. Social media posts shared by an Instagram user sparked intense conversation about Steven, seen there, a contestant featured on season 10. So the situation first gained traction after an Instagram user who goes by the handle Gold Dust Mystic shared a series of emotional posts describing an alleged encounter with Steven via her Instagram stories. In her stories, she claimed that Steven came to her home in May 2025 and made her feel unsafe. She recalled feeling sick when she saw the same man who allegedly assaulted her pop up as a cast member for season 10 of Love is Blind. So in the comments of Love is Blind's official casting announcement on Instagram, the same woman asked producers if there was a way to contact them directly about one of the cast members. And you can see there it says, is there an email of way to directly contact the producers regarding one of these men. I have some information that I feel is very important to share. She also shared what she believed to be Stephen's social media profile and alleged that he filmed people without their consent and did not take no for an answer. She noted that she didn't necessarily expect people to believe her because she didn't file a police report after it happened. She, however, felt compelled to speak out and warn people about how dangerous he was. So, however, many commenters pushed back, pointing out that if no police report was ever filed, background checks likely wouldn't reveal anything. Several noted that that teams cannot uncover situations that were never formally documented, especially if the alleged incident happened after filming Wrapped. This update added another layer to the conversation, with many fans expressing concern while continuing to stress that these remain allegations that have not been independently confirmed. So far, neither Netflix nor Stephen has publicly addressed the situation. Everything circulating stems from social media posts, influencer coverage, and online discussion among fans. So here are some more past controversies for the show, Love is Blind. So Tran Dang, who filmed for season 5 but is not featured in the episodes, is suing production company Kinetic Content after claiming she was sexually assaulted on set by her former fiance, and Kinetic allegedly did nothing to stop it, according to a complaint obtained by People. In the suit, Dang also claimed she was falsely imprisoned while filming, and producers acted with negligence. Also, Love is Blind's creator, Chris Colin, spoke to People and says that he supports people coming forward about sexual assaults, but insists production was never told that she felt unsafe or experienced any of the allegations that she made. If anybody ever came to us and said they felt unsafe in any way, we would immediately remove them from the experiment and talk to them and try to get to the bottom of it, he says. Unfortunately, in this case, that kind of sentiment was never addressed to us in any way, nor was any alleged wrongdoing brought to our attention ever. Also, Colin calls Dang's false imprisonment claims preposterous, as participants are always free to walk away from the show, like what has been done in the past with previous cast members, and most recently in this season with Aaliyah Cosby, Taylor Rue, and Jared J.P. Pierce. So these allegations, if they are true, could be very devastating. And it's understandable how this woman would feel seeing someone who has allegedly done the things that she claims that Stephen's done to her on TV and about to be broadcast to a national audience. There has been a lot of discussion since these allegations have come out, just online really, about the show in general, not specifically about this case, because again, we don't have a whole lot of information about it, but specifically about the vetting process for the contestants that they get on this show, because it seems this is season 10 and they have different chapters in different countries all over the place. And there always seems to be some kind of drama, for lack of a better word, surrounding at least some of the cast members. So again, this season is supposed to be launching next week, I believe. I think like maybe 2 weeks from now, the 11th or so, I think, and just in time for Valentine's Day. So I'm sure a lot of people will be watching. Personally, I haven't watched this show since maybe the first or second season, and that was enough for me. It's also too much Nick Lachey personally for me, but we'll see how this one plays out. And hopefully, if these allegations are true, hopefully at least somebody gets the justice that they're looking for. We're going to take a break and we're going to see if we can get Dr. Richie back on here when we get back.
What contributions to the progressive cause are you most proud of? I mean, I don't have super high aspirations for a singular role that I can play in the movement or anything. I try to present myself as what I think that I am, which is a progressive man who is driven by I think, well-interrogated and well-organized system of values that I try to stay consistent on, and I demonstrate that that's the sort of life that a person can lead and be successful and be happy and all of that. And that should not need to be done, but there are so many people on the right that are trying to push men in the opposite direction that I want to be able to do that. Along the way, if I can get people to care about some topics that they wouldn't necessarily care about, or that for some men they might think that's not a topic that they should be focused on, that's definitely something that I relish doing. And along the way, I mean, we've been able to introduce people to a lot of candidates. That's been a big part of what we've done. Not all of them necessarily got in office. Probably most of them did not. And a lot of them you might not even remember their names. But it was great to be able to provide people the platform where they had the chance of, making a difference. Obviously AOC and all that, but there's been a lot of great people along the way.
In the bonus episode for the members, we do some inside baseball. We're gonna look at John's desk. Nice little spaceship here. Nerd, but it is kind of look cool. Who has Legos? Oh no, he's taking apart a keyboard. Who has a mouse pad that's this big? He's got a dog with a nose that you can hang something on. You know what this desk screams to me? Nerd. And that's how we like him. We love Johnny Pie. He's got his own personality like everybody does at TYT. Come meet us all in the bonus episodes. TYT.com/team.
David Sorrell, Nina Turner. Adam Green drop by.
Charlemagne.
Congressman, great to have you. It's great to be with you, Chang.
Your show is a great thing. You're informing people. A lot of the shows that I live on, my CNN, my MSNBC, and even Fox, and any of the other shows, NPR, they are so quick to decide that they know what this building means today.
The one thing that I hate that politicians do, they talk about the people they should be talking to.
Do they have any idea that they're the establishment and that they're hated? Or do they not realize that at all?
People are so deeply in their little universe. I think it's very easy to not really question what you're doing.
Voters have a right to ask questions of any nominee, whether they're independent, Republican, or Democrat.
The system is duopoly that suppresses competition. How is it the year 2024 and we're still like, maybe they'll talk about paid medical? Like how is that like at one level it's like, good, what we're talking about it now. You're like, it's 2024.
And that's always been the critique, your critique of us is, well, you guys give good speeches, you put out good tweets, but you're not wielding actual power. Now we're starting to.
My favorite news platform by far. It's not even close.
It's about a country and a principle, and that's what you and I both worked to achieve. And I'm so glad that at least half the battle has now been won.
If you want to go really hear what's going on honestly, you should tune into the Young Turks.
Thanks for doing such a great job. Please keep it up. Hang tough.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, I like making that.
I didn't know about that.
This is a happy experience. You're welcome, YouTube.
Join the Dragon Squad by becoming a YouTube channel member. Click the join button below or sign up on tyt.com/join to get access to fun emojis, a member-only chat, exclusive shop TYT designs, ad-free watching, and so many other amazing perks. Plus, you get bragging rights for being part of the coolest community on the internet and help us drive real positive change in the world. The Dragon Squad awaits, so join today.
At TYT, our mission is to boldly pursue truth, challenge the establishment, and drive positive change. At a time when corporate capture of our media, our government, and our politics is nearly absolute, everyday working people need a champion to fight for them and to push back against the powerful interests that threaten our democracy itself. At TYT, we're proudly progressive and call out corruption and duplicity wherever we see it, from Republicans, Democrats, or anyone else. And unlike mainstream news media outlets, we're not beholden to corporate advertisers, to defense contractors, to Wall Street, or to Big Pharma. We only have to answer to our audience, and for nearly 2 decades, we've accomplished that by delivering honest, timely, and insightful perspectives on the day's news without fear or favor or concern for whose toes we might step on or which powerful elites we might offend. And while we're super serious about the news, we also manage to do it in a way that is fun and lighthearted. We can do this together and serve our audience, and yes, have fun doing it.
You are the media revolution. You are much needed.
TYT, TYT.
The place is like 95% TYT on.
You guys, the Young Church, which is my favorite channel, we're getting that message out.
Frank and the Young Church do an extraordinarily good job.
No matter what mainstream media says, you have to listen to the Young Church.
The people who support us on the internet, that's what gives us strength. That's what allows anyone who was in there who was undecided to think one side seems to be winning, they seem to have a bigger army. There might be a reason for that. So thank you guys.
All right. Welcome back. Always good to be with you all. I apologize. We had some technical issues at this studio. Always fascinating to have the brilliance of Yasmin on the program. All right. Hell of a story. Alabama. We have an update. Activists are exposing extreme abuse, the use of solitary confinement in order to retaliate against human beings who deserve dignity and respect. Here it is.
I know you're grieving, but I wanted to tell you that your son was murdered. They sweep stuff underneath the rug all the time.
If you're an inmate in Alabama prison, you're probably praying every night that nothing bad happens to you. It's dangerous and volatile. It could explode at any moment.
I mean, it's corrupt. That's all you can say.
We're finished.
What are we finished with?
Tell me.
Why?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Police in here.
Oh, okay.
Don't talk.
We had record numbers of people leaving out of here in body bags. They don't want the public to see what's really going on the inside.
How can a journalist go into a war zone but can't go into a prison in the United States of America?
The state is settling one lawsuit after another. There's no consequences for their actions.
It's not the inmate that's killing them folks. It's for God.
Put up the documentary, Full Mask. I encourage everyone to see this. We're going to keep that picture up. I have a hell of a background story to relay. If you have been watching Indisputable long enough, you remember the days when I had to go to Alabama because pictures surfaced from others who were incarcerated and snuck a phone in to take pictures of people who were dying, and the staff did not give a damn. Journalists were told they could not enter. I was able to navigate with being Trump, Eric Daniels, and a few others. We were able to get people out of that prison during that time. The saga continues, but probably even more egregious. The Alabama prison system has moved 3 well-known incarcerated activists who supported a 2022 prison strike and were featured in an Oscar-nominated documentary about the troubled system, to isolated cells with little contact or no contact with anyone else. Family members and attorneys have gone on record. Family members of the 3 men said they fear for their loved ones' safety and are concerned the moves to solitary confinement are a form of retaliation for them being outspoken about problems within the prison system. Robert Earl Counsel, Melvin Ray, Raul Poole were transferred 2 weeks ago from their existing prisons to solitary confinement, punishment, at the Kilby Correctional Facility. This is outside of Montgomery. The transfers come as some groups have encouraged a new prison labor strike this year. I want you to understand what a prison strike is, because some people compare it to a riot or violence. It is not. They are striking from forced labor. Yeah, they're striking from working for pennies per hour. They're willing to go back if you treat them with respect, but that's what they're striking. There's more. Quote, "This is straight up retaliation," said Julie Sled, who is close to Mr. Poole and spoke to the AP about the situation. Quote, "They've all 3 been very involved in standing up for the rights of incarcerated citizens." End quote. Counsel, Ray, and Poole were featured in the Alabama Solution. It's a documentary about the state prison system that relied heavily on cell phone footage from the incarcerated. The film has been nominated for an Academy Award in the documentary category. Sled says she had been able to talk to Poole once since the transfer. And he told her the men are being held in separate cells on an isolated and closely guarded floor. Jordan, put them back up. Those brothers are in prison. They're smiling. They're actual leaders. People respect them. And they deserve to be treated with dignity. Now, they're being punished for one reason, because they're right, because they're exposing corruption, neglect, and the evils that are being done. Quote, since their arrival, the men have been cut off from contact with their families, something they did years ago when we were there. They're being held in isolation with no contact with others, not even staff, except for a small group of guards and supervisors. It's called a controlled management protocol. Lawyers representing the three men said in a statement, the attorney said the prison system did not provide a reason for the move and said the restrictions, quote, far exceed standard administrative segregation protocols. Why do you think they're going this far and being this outspoken? The prison system, typically they would try to hide, mitigate, give you some PR, try to tell you it's not what it seems. No PR strategy, because the only entity that could regulate them or govern them is the Department of Justice. And the DOJ basically co-signs this madness. There's more. The Alabama Department of Corrections cited security concerns as the reason the men were moved, but did not elaborate. They're not gangbangers. They're not violent. They're not leading riots. They are leading rights. The transfer of inmates, quote, the transfer of inmates is based on intelligence that they are engaged in activity that is detrimental to the safety and security of the facility and the public. End quote. Prison officials said in a statement emailed by a spokesperson, Kelly Betts. The statement added that, quote, all inmates are safe, secure, and receiving regular meals and other services as needed, end quote. And they have had legal visits and phone service. Ernestine counsel said on Wednesday that she had received very little information about her son and had not been able to speak with him directly. And Brooks, Ray's mother, said she had not been able to reach her son, although he was able to make one call to his brother. Quote, I don't know what is going to happen or what could happen, Brooks said. The moves come as some have pushed for a new prison labor strike this year. They did one in 2022. It got national attention, rightfully so. I supported it. Thousands of Alabama inmate workers went on strike that year, refusing to work in prison kitchens, laundries, factories, protesting against the conditions in the state lockups. Multiple inmates told the AP that prisons had recently reduced the amount of food and other items they can buy each week at the prison commissary, a move that could prevent items from being stockpiled ahead of a potential strike. They're limiting how much they can eat in order to punish them for even considering engaging in not being forced to labor for somebody else. The prison system said in a statement that food service had been contracted out to a new vendor, Aramark, but did not elaborate. Quote, we're really concerned because they've had retaliation and abuse in response to all their activism, end quote, said Andrew Jerikai, director of the Alabama Solution. Quote, it's particularly ironic that these men who are incredibly brave and frankly scholars and have learned the law and have been leaders and always observed nonviolent means to protest are always met with violence by authorities. Put it up. We've long covered the various abuse individuals have suffered in the Alabama prison system. I've worked with Senator John Ossoff on this very matter, including the story of Mr. Antonio Barnett Smith. Also, there's another brother named Mr. Vaughn. The brother you're looking at had cancer, passed away after being released on medical furlough. Passed away after being released on medical furlough, and his family is claiming he was medically neglected while there. We've done various exclusive regarding the atrocities that have taken place there. They have gotten worse. We brought this to the attention of lawyers, U.S. senators. And now that you have an administration that doesn't give a damn, you have a feckless Congress. I'm not talking about the Republicans only. I wonder, are we putting together some dots here? Because if we're not careful, we will think that ICE came out of nowhere. I'm going to connect it. We'll think that ICE is this anomaly, rogue. But have we considered that if we treated Black folk and brown folk, historically marginalized individuals, if we treated them with dignity, respect, fairness, and gave them equitable opportunity in our justice system, do you think we get an ICE today if we had a justice system that provided justice? ICE is an evolution in a de-evolution of a system normality known as the criminal justice complex. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, we have a huge problem in this country when it comes to incarceration. And you can take that just as a general statement in the sense that we already incarcerate so many people. And then there's the bail system, and then there's the for-profit prison system, and then you have police brutality and police protectionism, et cetera. But we've got a huge problem outside of all of that, and that we lock people up for a certain amount of time as if that in and of itself is supposed to make society better. And what we see so often is that it does not make society better, and it does not help the people who are on the inside, especially once they're back out on the outside. So yeah, like some people are too dangerous and have already been too destructive to continue to exist freely in society. But if you approach the prison system in the interest of bettering the individuals who found themselves in the interest of preventing recidivism, rehabilitation versus punishment, that costs a lot of money, and it costs a lot of effort and a lot of deliberation. You have to be very deliberate in the way that you treat people who have been convicted of crimes or people who you suspect of crimes. And to do all of that, you would have to reform the entire prison system, and you'd have to reform all of policing, and you would have to reform even parts of the justice system. And then you would have to put adequate money and resources into the prison system to help these inmates. And then you'd have to launch an entire political PR campaign to convince the public that these inmates are worth putting money into. But even without doing any of that, we can at least feed people, right? We can at least treat them like they're human beings. What we're seeing here is a cultural issue. The idea that we feel as though these people have done something wrong. We don't even know what wrong they've all done, but they are lesser than, and they deserve to be treated as lesser than. And then you have the issue with the cops who have been given this permission to treat people as if they're lesser than, to scare people, to basically do whatever they want to these people. And they know that they'll be protected by the higher powers. They know that there's very little that can be done to them. And so what happens is you cultivate this environment of extreme power disparity to the point where it starts to look something akin to slavery, where you're having people, especially Black and brown people, who are being imprisoned in this system, who are being made to labor without really getting paid anything. If they are getting paid anything, it's really, really negligible to the point that it may as well be nothing. And you have this power dynamic that exists within a vacuum, within this very tight ecosystem in a world that people on the outside rarely get to see inside of. And then whenever you hear these whistleblowers, these stories that finally make it out to the public, then it becomes a big issue. And then you get in there and you see how bad it has already been and how long it's been allowed to fester, and how all the people from the prison guards all the way up to the top have known about this and have let this issue continue on. So if you want to talk about racism, we're seeing that here. If you want to talk about classism, we are seeing that here. All of these issues are things that are part of the rot of this country that we are constantly trying to let it breathe a little bit, get it out so we can deal with it. But so much of this country is still not ready to have those conversations. So, but we'll keep having these conversations on shows like this one, Doc.
Well said. Absolutely right. Jordan, put up the heroes one more time. I want to remind everyone that if you are a lover of people and you care about advocating for the rights of others, you are the same as they are. Those brothers are the same as me, and we are the same as you. These courageous men are civil rights leaders in a different context, in a context that the vast majority of us would be terrified of living in. But they are civil rights leaders in prison. Brothers, if there's anything I can do, please contact Indispute. We'll bring you updates as to. All right. Candidate in Florida said Don Lemon is lucky he did not get lynched. Yeah. Here we go. Put up full mask. Yeah. After news of journalist Don Lemon's arrest and indictment by the Trump administration, a gubernatorial candidate in the state of Florida, James Fishback, decided to make a racist comment regarding Mr. Lemon's predicament. In post, the candidate wrote, quote, Don Lemon is lucky he's not getting hanged in the public square for ransacking a church. I put up the candidate. It's real interesting because Republicans wanted to bring guns in churches, but we said no. Republicans are the ones who made churches on limits, not off limits, for law enforcement to run in and violate the rights of everybody, making it a staging ground. This is not the first time he's been racist online. Fishback, a hedge fund CEO, has tried to gain traction in the Florida gubernatorial Republican primary. So he has to out racist everybody. It's a rush to the bottom. In part by hurling a steady stream of racial slurs at his Black opponent, Representative Byron Donalds. He has called Donalds a slave who was auctioned off for $31 million to business interest. Byron still believes America's not a racist country. Responding to an ex post that compared photos of Fishback and his partner with Donalds, with his wife, Erica, with whom he has 3 children, this hedge fund CEO intentionally misspelled the GOP lawmaker's name and accused him of wanting to turn the state into a ghetto. End quote. He said Byron wants to turn Florida into a Section 8 ghetto. He wrote on that. Donald's a longtime defender and ally of Donald Trump, who has not defended Donald's. Holds a commanding lead over Fishback, who is running as an outsider, with the Florida Phoenix reporting the GOP lawmaker holds an overwhelming 76% to 6% gap among voters, with Trump's endorsement factored in. Yeah, he's leading with 76% because his response is yes or master. All right, yes, thoughts.
Yeah, this is kind of like the rot that I was talking about in the last segment, but at least in this case, the rot is presenting itself for us. It's bringing itself up to the surface, so we don't have to dig for it. We don't have to look for it, and we can deal with it now that it's out here. This person is running for Congress. You know, they want to represent people within the state of Florida. They want to represent people in this country, and this is, you know, we would like to believe it's not a racist country, but it seems to be. It's hard to contradict sometimes, right? I do wonder, though, about the long-term effects of Trumpism in this country, especially as it seems as though we're seeing the end of Trumpism. And I know that that might sound a little bit optimistic, but if you at least consider that we've already been dealing with this saga for at least 10 years, Trump is in his second term as president, and the future seems uncertain for a lot of things. Right now, what we're seeing is something that we haven't seen for the last 10 years. And that is the first time, for the first time, we're really seeing a lot of Republicans and a lot of Trump voting Republicans see what's happening in this country and think, ooh, you know, this really isn't what I voted for, or this isn't what I thought was going to happen, or, ooh, you know, I didn't think he was going to do it this way. I'm not defending them. That's just what they're saying. I don't agree with them. I don't know why they didn't know these things, especially when we've been telling them the whole time. But this is the first time that we really are seeing them stop and take a step back and say, oh, you know what? I don't like what I'm seeing in this country. On top of that, we're also seeing that he's not doing a whole lot for them. So their bills aren't going down, their grocery bills aren't going down, they're still unable to afford housing, their job market is not getting better, it's getting significantly worse. We're still seeing plenty of layoffs. We're not getting jobs reports anymore. So things are demonstrably worse now than they have been in a long time. Trump's approval rating continues to go down. And with that, with the fall of Trump and Trumpism, I wonder if politicians like this one, like Fishback, are going to feel so bold in the future, if they're going to be okay being so blatantly racist. And I want to just make sure the younger viewers understand this. But before Trump was really a presidential candidate, like before 2015 or so, we didn't see this kind of blatant racism in our country, right? It just was not there. We didn't see it on social media because, well, we also didn't have as much social media back then as we do now, but it was not the norm for us to have any kind of politician or even a public figure speak this blatantly, this racistly in the public without any kind of repercussion, without any kind of fear of retribution, within the hopes of even getting elected to public office. This is not normal. And if you are younger, I need you to understand that this is not normal. And so for those of us who are a little bit older, it's still very shocking to see people speak this way about anybody, let alone even their colleagues in Washington. You know, I mean, Byron Donalds, you know, he does it to himself, I'll say, but it's a very strange state of things that we've been in. It's been kind of like like what is the Twilight Zone for the last decade or so. So hopefully I'm ready to get out of it.
And to your point, 8 years of a Black man being president named Barack Obama did not bring you this. Mm-hmm. It did not bring this kind of racism. All right, we got more on the other side. Indisputable. Stick it.
There's one reason why healthcare is so messed up in this country, and that's because of our money in politics situation. Because those industries that are deeply corrupt can just simply purchase all of Congress. And then the problem never gets fixed because of that bribery. Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's greed, and it's the greed of politicians, right? I mean, so everything they do is dictated by the donors and the money. I mean, I shouldn't say that, not everything. A lot of what they do is, and I do think that there are people who do things in spite of the fact that they have to raise money and often don't get that money and often don't win because they don't, but are in there fighting for ideals that they believe in. Bernie Sanders is certainly an example of someone like that.
I'm back to gaslighting. Did you and I talk about gaslighting on Old School?
Probably.
That boss gaslit all his female employees. People who manipulate others like that make you feel like you're the weirdo. Why won't you punch yourself in the face? What is wrong with you? And you're like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Why didn't I just punch myself in the face and poke my eye out? I'm 47 and I just figured it out like earlier this year.
You figured out somebody was doing it to you, or that you were
that it was that it would have been happening my whole life and I didn't realize it.
Right.
You want to know the 3 shows that I'm watching lately? Shogun, Anjin-san. Those guys are badasses. Then you go to the Duttons, Yellowstone. Now they don't always do it right, but they are badasses. But the 3rd show has the biggest badasses of all, the Young Turks. Live every weekend. Sick that I was so good. God damn it. Okay, live. Weekdays at 6 o'clock Eastern. That's what I meant. Anjin-san.
How do you know if you're a populist? Easy. Do you work for the donor class? You don't? Great, you're a populist. Okay, so the establishment takes money from the donors and serves the donors. Mainstream media takes money from advertisers, and they are giant corporations themselves, and they work for themselves, and they work for the powerful. If you care about the average person, and you want the average person to have better health care, better wages, a better life, and you hate corruption, congrats, you're a populist.
All right, Amazon Prime members, here's how you can subscribe for free on Twitch. Start by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and then click that little subscribe or resubscribe button below the stream on Twitch. Scroll down and select the subscribe free with Prime button, and then you're finished. Close out immediately and share your little subscription alert with the chat. Send a cute message along with it and bathe in the sweet, twitchy, Bezos-funded love. Hashtag Bezos Bucks.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We have a bunch of comments. I will read as many as I can. Very thankful for everyone. Mongoose Dragon, yes, nice surprise. Always nice surprise. Ronald Fan -R3Z, happy Monday, indisputable fans, and to you, Dr. Richie. And yes, I hope you guys are all doing awesome. We are, and thank you for that. I hope you're doing the same. Really appreciate you. And Bob. Dabalina 8376. Please forgive me if I slaughtered that. Okay. I've got to give Fishback credit for one thing. It's hard to make Byron Donalds look good, but he's doing it big time. Yeah. There you go. And Ilkek, ICE reminds me of slave catchers. In a way, all law enforcement propagated from slave catchers, ironically. All right, got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
You're still free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. I quoted the Bible at a pedophile church and they escorted me out.
I would say Romans 1:32, homosexuality is a sin, and whoever supports that is worthy of death.
You're not a pastor. You're a groomer. It's a satanic pedophile church. Leave your pride behind, get on your knees, and follow Jesus Christ. Ask God for forgiveness. Follow Jesus Christ. He's the way, the truth, and the life. Do not use his name in vain, because that's exactly what this church is doing. He's using his name in vain. This church is an abomination. All of you are an abomination. When I'm in Congress, I'm taking away the 501(c)(3) status of pedophile churches and terrorist mosques. We will ban halal, hijabs, and once their terrorist funding dries up, I'm going to start buying them and tearing down every mosque one by one. I look forward to making Texas the worst place for groomers and terrorist Muslims to live in, so help me God. Jesus is King.
Ironic, isn't it? Put it up, full mass. There's a black man named Don Lemon who has been federally indicted for not doing 1/10 of what this woman did inside of a church. So Pam Bondi struck down an anti-ICE protesters and journalists reporting on the church protest, all while selectively ignoring actual hate crimes. So what you just saw was a place of worship. All right? Same federal law applies. This is the tweet Miss Valentina Gomez sent out. Quote, pedophile churches don't like it when you quote the Bible. These pedophile churches, or these use the name of Jesus in vain and lead others astray. Tolerance is sin. Tolerance of sin, is not a Christian virtue. Deny yourself. Pick up your cross and follow Jesus Christ. End quote. She's running for the U.S. Congress, and she decided to disrupt a church service. She was escorted out of the building. Pam Bondi is not investigating. Donald Trump is not concerned. Don Lemon has to hire lawyers, had to go to jail, and will defend himself in the court of law, spending his resources, time, energy, etc., doing so. He didn't protest, by the way. He simply documented what happened as a journalist. But here we are, Karens freely violating federal law in places of worship. Yes, the irony of this happening right now with someone running for the U.S. Congress violating the same law that Don Lemon is a national headline for daily.
Yeah, and this Valentina Gomez, she's tried this grift in Missouri, I believe it was, and now it didn't work over there. Now she's here in Texas, and she might be better received in Texas, or at least she has the backing of our state government, because our governor, Greg Abbott, he also is very against Muslims right now. He's very pro-Christianity in the sense that he's taking public money and giving it to private Christian schools, et cetera, et cetera. We already have the 10 Commandments in our public schools. They're saying that they want to make the Bible required reading in public schools, things like that. So Texas is getting very, very Christian, almost to the point where even a lot of Christian people are saying, hey, we're supposed to keep our secular spaces a little bit more secular than this. She does a thing also where she keeps calling them pedophile churches. And she's assuming that people who are homosexual or just not heterosexual or cisgender are pedophiles, which is a very right-wing talking point that makes no sense. And so any church that is actually accepting of people is considered to be a bad church. And, that's what people want when they go to church. They want to be yelled at and told that they're going to be going to hell. I think some people maybe do want that when they go to church because they choose to go to the churches that they choose to go to. But for the most part, people are trying to worship in the way that they want to worship. And if somebody comes in there deliberately with the intent of disrupting that worship, then yeah, they should be escorted off the premises. And yeah, as you pointed out, she's lucky that she was just escorted off gently with no kind of legal repercussions off of the church property. And that's going to be the end of it. She's going to go viral for this. She's probably going to get some more notoriety from this. She's gone viral so many times, though, that, we're used to seeing stunts like this from her. But on top of the stunts, there's actually the rhetoric, and you do have to put it into the bigger context of what is actually happening here in Texas right now. And she's playing right into Governor Abbott's playbook.
Yeah, well said. Jordan, put up the post again from the Karen of the day. I try to meet people of faith boundary to boundary and belief to belief. I refuse to allow people like this to hijack my faith tradition. I believe in the God that's inside of you, for the kingdom of God is inside of the heart of man. Ms. Gomez, I will remind you that Yahshua said, judge not, ye should not be judged. For the same measure that you use to judge one, that same measure will be used to judge you. All right. We got more on the other side. Indisputable stick and stay.
At TYT, our mission is to boldly pursue truth, challenge the establishment, and drive positive change. At a time when corporate capture of our media, our government, and our politics is nearly absolute, everyday working people need a champion to fight for them and to push back against the powerful interests that threaten our democracy itself. At TYT, we're proudly progressive and call out corruption and duplicity wherever we see it, from Republicans, Democrats, or anyone else. And unlike mainstream news media outlets, we're not beholden to corporate advertisers, to defense contractors, to Wall Street, or to Big Pharma. We only have to answer to our audience, and for nearly 2 decades, we've accomplished that by delivering honest, timely, and insightful perspectives on the day's news without fear or favor or concern for whose toes we might step on or which powerful elites we might offend. And while we're super serious about the news, we also manage to do it in a way that is fun and lighthearted. We can do this together and serve our audience, and yes, have fun doing it.
You are the media revolution. You are much needed.
TYT! TYT!
The place is like 95% TYT on.
Favorite channel, we're getting that message out.
Tank and the young Turks do an extraordinarily good job.
No matter what mainstream media says, you have to listen to the young Turks.
people who support us on the internet. That's what gives us strength. That's what allows anyone who was in there who was undecided to think one side seems to be winning. They seem to have a bigger army. There might be a reason for that. So thank you guys.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. I will read as many comments as I can. I greatly appreciate everyone. Jim Lee says, with apologies to well-meaning worship, I agree with the Karen. If we revoke 503c, I know you mean 501c3, designation for all churches, seeing as too many are based on trying to make otherwise good people into uneducated, misguided haters. Make all revenue taxable, whether the church is nonprofits, for-profits, or humans. I agree with one caveat. If the nonprofit isn't really helping people, there should be some type of measure for what makes you qualify to truly be a service-oriented organization, not just because you filed a 501c3. But I get your point. Yeah, the Midwest Dragon says, to the homophobic, caring, I'm pretty sure Jesus loves you and all of his children, no matter what sexuality they are. That's right. That's right. You know, Jesus never said anything about gay people. Ever. Not one word. No. Wasn't important. Helping people, taking care of the widows, feeding the hungry, liberating folk was most important. Sarah Curran, I think. Thank you. Subscribe with Prime. Thank you for that. Really appreciate you. And micrograms, the delusional pick me that No one's picked fascist killer. All right. Now you know she did that, purposely to antagonize people on the left because you know damn well she would have gotten into trouble if she was a progressive. Yeah, literally, it would have been a national case, act of Congress. Okay. We talked about this prior when a memo was leaked. ICE agents are now entering, breaking in, busting windows in your home without a warrant, saying they are following the law. We have the story. Here it is.
Police, hands up, hands up, hands up.
ICE followed this woman home after they took her husband and father, barged into her home without a warrant, saying she was aiding and abetting more criminals. She's a U.S. citizen, as are the only other people who live with her literal children. Nicole Amaya's husband and father went to the grocery store and never came home. A broken taillight led to a traffic stop, and since, both men have not returned. Her husband was in the middle of his asylum case, having escaped MS-13 12 years ago. Her father, who's 75, says he's not able to access his medication for his diabetes in the detention center they were sent to, and describes horrible conditions. In an exclusive with Mother Jones, Amaya describes after the remaining family returned home collapsing on the floor after what just happened. She has 6 children, including a 1-year-old, and their sole breadwinners were just kidnapped. Then, moments later, loud bangs rang out and ICE agents with weapons drawn forced themselves into their home. You can see they violently pulled Amaya's 12-year-old son away and hear as her baby cries. Recently, a whistleblower revealed to the Associated Press that ICE agents are going against their written training and the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution and are being trained instead to enter homes without a warrant like they did to Amaya's family. Amaya is a stay-at-home mom without the resources to be able to feed herself and her children. She's waking up every 2 hours due to stress. Their power and heat was shut off and they're facing eviction. Recently, because they can't afford to get their door fixed, someone broke in and ransacked their home and their immigration documents were stolen.
Put up the memo. Here's what it contained. Through his memo, ICE director Todd Lyons broadened the interpretation of, quote, likely to escape, end quote, dismissing a previous definition ICE relied on that he said was unreasoned and incorrect. That prior interpretation of, quote, likely to escape was based on a determination that someone was a flight risk or unlikely to comply with immigration proceedings, like attending court hearing. But the director said someone is, quote, likely to escape if they are unlikely to remain at the location where they were encountered. Quote, an alien, and understand they utilize the term alien intentionally in order to make you think they're different than you, okay? Always remember that. The alien, this is the quote, is likely to escape if an immigration officer determines he or she is unlikely to be located at the scene of the encounter or another clearly identifiable location once an administrative warrant is obtained. He wrote, what is an administrative warrant? Sounds official. It's basically one they made up. It's not signed by a judge, okay? They made it up. And they have some level of federal authority here, but obviously they're utilizing it not only unethically, but also, I believe, illegally. And every judge who gets the fruit of this tree has to kick the cases out with prejudice. That's the only way they will stop. If they are incentivized by judges going along with the arrest, it will only embolden them. They are testing the system. There's more. So these are factors These are factors agents are told to consider now when assessing the likelihood of an immigrant escaping. Ms. Lyon's memo lists factors agents can consider when deciding the standard has been met. Now, we already know these cats have horrible judgment, including whether someone obeys commands or tries to evade commands, has access to a car or another means to leave, maybe a bicycle, has identification. You can't have that. You have identification, that's a problem. You're likely to escape. We can violate all of your rights now. Or work authorization. You have the audacity to have a job. Likely to escape. Now, this is in their memo. Put it up. There's more. Work authorization documents. Remember, work authorization means you're authorized to work legally. Agents suspect of fraudulent. What does that mean? That means that all of them are fraudulent. That's the point. That's why when they arrest people, even citizens, they say, hey, I tried to give them my ID. They didn't want my ID. That's right, because they've determined whatever you show them is fraudulent because they get to disguise themselves with that BS standard. So every document will be fraudulent if they decide it. Not if it is, not if it's a suspicious document. It's a prerequisite to the exacting offense, which is to violate your rights. Or provides unverifiable or suspected false information. Unverifiable information is not the same as false information. What's your last name? Matt, can't verify it. Sorry, likely to escape. The memo suggests the rules are designed to give ICE greater flexibility. They're already committing murder. They're killing people unarmed. Police chiefs are saying they're committing murder. Sheriffs, elected sheriffs are saying they're committing murder. They need more what? Flexibility. They already got a $50,000 bonus. Completely underqualified. Shouldn't be at the job anyway. To quickly arrest unauthorized immigrants who are not the original targets of an operation, but are nonetheless encountered and found to have violated U.S. immigration law. This is called a witch hunt. Those detentions are known as, quote, collateral arrest, and typically involve immigrants accused of civil immigration violations, not criminal, but lack any serious criminal histories or any criminal history whatsoever. All right, thoughts here.
You know, look, if you're on the side that supports any of this still, then you are on the wrong side of history. You just are. And if you are, then just know that and know that history will not remember you positively. History is not going to mince its words or sentiments when it comes to you or your humanity or your morality. It won't be a question of two sides of a story. It'll be a question as to how so many people who claim to support and love democracy and this country and the tenets of our Constitution and Jesus fell for this cruel, racist, fear-based grift that is unconstitutional from start to finish. Kids will study the people who supported this administration in the future, and it will not be in a flattering way. And if you're a Republican, but you're like, oh, I don't really agree with the actions of ICE, no one cares. No one cares anymore. Unless you are like vocally outspoken against the actions of this administration, no one cares. You are still the same as all of the rest of them who are excited about everything ICE is doing to our own countrymen. And yes, our countrymen, because these are people who live here. And even if they're not citizens, many of them are on the path to citizenship. They are paying taxes. They are working individuals. They are not criminals. They are not terrorists. They're not gang members. All of these things that everyone watching this show already understands, but the people who are still supporting this administration, the people who still have not spoken out against it, even to their own family members, you are still the problem, and the rest of us see you as that problem. And that's how I feel about that.
Very well said. Everyone is a citizen of Earth, period. All right. Yeah, it's always good to have you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you and check out your great work.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at YazK with 5 Z's, YAZZZZK. And you can catch all my videos on Rebel HQ on the YouTube channel. And I'll be on the Damage Report with John tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you as always.
Thanks.
Remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.